bring the museum back to life.
You know, people sit out on the front porch hoping people will come by.
Go forth and do good. It's insane. I have the most understanding wife in the world.
I treat everybody the same thing.
Oh, that's the other thing I love about Marietta. It's like a melting pot.
You are listening to Marietta Stories. Each week, veteran podcaster Bill Nowicki brings you the heartwarming, interesting, and fun stories from the people that make the community of Marietta, Georgia, a place to call home. Here's your host, Bill Nowicki.
Here I am outside of Marietta. I'm up in Woodstock for the grand opening of Tiny Bubbles Tea Bar. You just call it Tiny Bubbles Tea Bar.
I do. Yeah.
Tiny Bubbles Tea Bar 2 up here in Woodstock. And I have Felecia, Brielle's mom. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
What time did you get up this morning?
I was up at 6 o'clock, went to bed at 1:30. So I'm running on empty fuels. Haven't even gotten my coffee yet.
Oh, really? Do you get a coffee headache?
No, I don't. But we've got a Vietnamese iced coffee here that just gives you that nice buzz that sustains you.
Great. Well, I'm so excited. I know Cassandra Buckaloo designed this store. It's absolutely breathtaking. I love the way she did it.
It's stunning. We drove her crazy. We told her everything circles, and she made it come true for us.
Yeah, so why don't you walk, because this is audio, which you like, but talk me through what it looks like here when you come in.
So we've got circular benches that all back up to each other that cause a little bit of privacy, and you can fit 3 comfortable adults, or as I've seen, 20 little teeny boppers, because you can squish them in there. And on the wall, we've got a display of different shades of wood. Everything's done in a wood palette of bubbles, simulating our boba in our popping pearls. One of our trivia questions today is how many of them are on the wall, and I had one of my employees count it yesterday. I can't give it away because that's one of the gifts later on. But everything's got a circle and a meaning behind it.
So take me back to this whole genesis of idea. Brielle was on an episode in season 1, but how did this whole thing get started?
So when I owned a cafe in the square, we did tea parties, and they were dainty with teacups and hats and feathers and all that. And her creative mind wanted to take it to this generation, to the millennials and to her kind of people. So she said she wanted to do something that wasn't her mama's cup of tea, and was in New York City, tried bubble tea, and loved it. Brought the idea back to me, and I tried it and hated it until she changed the recipe. Many of the recipes are too sweet, and they use powdered drinks and powdered tea. So she says, I'm going to kick this up a notch, use our loose leaf gourmet tea that we used upstairs in the cafe, and I'm going to make it so it fits everybody's palate, so we could adjust it to your sweetness level, and I am in love with it now.
Well, I remember when I had her on the show, I remember stories, I don't remember people's names, but she said like when she was a kid, she would color like coloring things and then sell them like 3 for $5. Oh, there she is running around.
There she is. We would have a garage sale, my business partner and I, and in a day we'd make about $30 and she'd make about $100. And I asked her, what are you selling? And she would color pages. She would take stuff from her bedroom that I bought her and turn it around and sell it. She is an entrepreneur to the max.
Yeah, she is. I could use some tips from her. So tell me what's your major plans? Are you going to start franchising? Because you're going to run thin, aren't you?
Well, we've been asked several times to franchise. We even had another bubble tea chain ask Brielle just this past week to buy us. But this is her baby, and this is what she wants to do, and we're taking it little by little. I don't know if you know, we're going to have a little space in Marietta Square Market, yes, and we're going to offer some different things there that we don't have in our regular Marietta.
Experimental.
Yes, that's what she's working on now. So we literally finished this, and she's on to the next. Here she is.
Here she is.
Is Mom trying to steal the show?
She already stole the show.
I thought this was my thing.
It was all about you.
We are mentioning you quite often.
Yeah, it's all about you.
Well, say, how busy are you? You guys are crazy busy already.
Yeah, we already did our first 250 people. We already had, because we did the first 250 people for like...
It's like 11 o'clock and you open at 9.
I know. We've been crazy.
That's why
Do you see the sweat dripping off me?
No, we can't see it. It's good. This is good. No visual. So you guys have not only, you're using technology, you can order, you don't even have to wait in line.
Yeah, a lot of people are using the app instead of having to wait in line, so they're the smartest ones.
I'm just, every time I meet you, it's like there's 10 more layers of entrepreneurial pieces that you have. How do you wake up in the middle of the night with like 10 ideas?
Yes, exactly that. You should see my notepad. I've got like 400 pages of notes on my iPhone.
Take a picture of one of those pages just so I can, give me a screen grab. I'll include it with this episode.
She has sticky notes all over her wall of ideas and thoughts. It literally covers one side of her kitchen.
Wow. I could foresee like 20 years in the future, you'll be testifying in front of Congress like the Facebook Zuckerberg did, trying to explain how you got to this place. Anyway, no, that's way off. So tell me, your mom was telling me about the bubbles, the circles here, the design. How did you get Cassandra? How many iterations did you go through on this design?
Well, first of all, she's a genius, Cassandra Bucklew. So she designed it, but when we were trying to decide what to go with for the style, the vibe, I told her how, our customers are huge into posting photos, taking selfies, taking pictures of their drinks. So I said, I really want to make a space.
Millennials.
Exactly.
Yeah, I really want to make a space that encourages that and gives you photo op moments. So the theme.
Brilliant.
Yeah, so the theme behind this location is Instagram worthy. And so we just kept coming up with every area for you to be in that you want to take a photo. And so with like these, like you're sitting in a big A.
I am a big A.
We've got a T and an E and an A. So you can sit in a T booth. You can sit in a fat straw. You can sit up against a wall of bubbles. You can sit in a big circle. You can sit on a cool little Cinderella chair. So every little area is thought out. Well, what would make a cute photo? And we try to make everything like a shorter height so it can fit in a photo too.
How about the marketing? Did you have a huge marketing plan and all this kind of stuff to launch?
Yeah, so when thinking about
how many stickies did that take?
That's a lot of OneDrive files. We've got a whole document online for this. My biggest thing is just rolling it out on social media and making sure I hit everyone that I can with press releases, with all the bloggers that follow us. Yelp has been a big help to give us some boosts and online. So a lot of social media contacts and making sure they know all the information they need to know to help share to their followers as well.
Well, I saw a bunch of young people dragging their people, parents and grandparents in here and introducing them to bubble tea.
Yeah, and I even had a father who was dragging his children and said he was trying to camp out all night, but his wife wouldn't let him. He was like, I was planning on coming here last night.
Really? What's that?
He could have helped us. We were here till all hours of the morning.
Wow, this is really, really incredible. And what activities did you come up with to do?
So we have 3 main giveaways, and they all incorporate Instagram or Facebook. So one, we do a tag a friend contest where you tag a friend on our latest post, and then we draw a raffle for who gets a prize out of who tagged a friend. Another big one is you can enter to win a free gallon of bubble tea if you post a picture or check in online and use our hashtag #TinyBubblesTeaTime. And that's another way to enter to win, and we'll draw that winner tomorrow. And then we're doing trivia. We like to quiz people and make them go find things on our app, on our website, on our Instagram page, and then whoever knows the answer and can find it fastest gets a prize.
Yeah, I heard about the number of wooden...
Number.
It didn't tell me the number.
No.
That's good. Well, I know you got to get back to work, but I really, really appreciate what you've done for the business community. I love this design, and Cassandra, I had her on the show. She's just awesome.
Yeah, she is. So thank you. I'm glad you came out. It's always good to see you.
It's good to see you. We'll get back to work and get these people happy. Maybe we'll get to, how many folks you think you'll get through in one today?
I'm more of a ticket person, so I'm going to guess we can probably do about 1,000 tickets today.
Wow, that's incredible. And going to 10 p.m. too.
Yeah, we'll be here till 10 p.m. That's probably like 2,000 to 2,500 drinks today. 2,000 to 2,500. Yeah.
Great. And what's your favorite drink that you're making right now? What'd you say?
Probably, it's such a mood thing. Strawberry colada I've been getting a lot. It's a coconut oolong tea, which actually won World's Best Tea at the World Tea Expo a few years back. So that's the base of it. And then it's got pineapple and strawberry puree. And then I always pair it with kiwi and yogurt popping pearls.
I want to try that. Okay, get me one. All right.
How sweet would you like it?
Not too sweet.
All right, half sweet?
Half sweet.
All right, I'll go get you one.
All right, good question. Yeah, I remember her though. She was talking about like how incredibly detailed she is, like 80-page document.
Yeah, somebody asked me just the other day because they saw that this was her creation. Is she an only child? I was like, no. Is she a firstborn? I said, no, she's actually the baby. She's so opposite of what the youngest child in the family should be, but she just took it with her. I think part of it had to do with her being homeschooled and her being determined to do things on her own, and she was forced to do things on her own, and it gave her room for creativity.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I didn't know she was homeschooled, so I'm learning the many layers of Brielle. But I would say, like, the one thing that I recognized going to school is they want you put you in a box, right? They say, okay, we're going to do math now. I don't like math. Too bad. Everybody's doing math. Take Ritalin, sit down, be quiet. You know, you're a good student because you're quiet. But the whole not having as many boxes must have been fascinating.
Well, the main reason why I chose to homeschool, because my husband suggested it and I just laughed at him because my idea was great. I'll get these kids out of my hair. Right. And when I tried to put my second one in school.
So wait a second. So your husband came up with the idea that you were going to execute?
No, we had him in a private school, and it was killing us expense-wise. Didn't want to put him in the public school at the time, so that was his suggestion, and I just laughed. And I was like, okay, great. But when I went to put my second son in school, and they told me he have to learn how to say his alphabet, tie his shoes, and spell his name in kindergarten, I thought, when do they play? When do they get to create? When can they sit and pick their nose and play with Legos? That's what kindergarten should be. Should be an adjustment. And I just felt like they were.
But I'm just picturing the picking the nose part. Oh my gosh, it's already ready. How quick was that? Man, okay, we're going to have a live tasting of this. But I was talking about homeschooling.
Yeah.
What was that like for you? It sounded like you were very creative homeschooling.
Was I? I think main thing I remember is I always worked ahead so I could have a few days off. So I would like work a whole day and do like 3 days worth of work and then be done with it. And then really it was self-teaching. Not that she was not an amazing teacher, but you know, I had to figure things out for myself rather than just like someone sitting there reading it to me for an hour per subject. I read it myself, I figured it out myself, so I think that's why I can problem solve now.
If I was looking to buy or sell a house, I would always think about who was my real estate agent and what were their results. Well, Johnny Walker and Carrie Cox hire the best real estate agents out there. Here's Elizabeth Denny to talk about one of her recent clients.
A teacher and a veteran who were buying their first house. And they've actually made fun of me because they said that I talked them out of absolutely everything that they wanted to buy and insisted that they wait for the right thing. But I feel like when you work as hard as they do and you have jobs that are as important as they have, our job is to be a good steward of their money and their future.
So please, if you're buying or selling a home, check out Johnny Walker Realty at 262 Church Street, just down from the Marietta Square. Give them a call at 678-626-0403 or check them out online, johnnywalkerrealty.com. Imagine if you were in public school, though, in that structure. What do you think would have happened?
I would have been a heathen.
Right, that's what I think.
I would have been such a troublemaker because like the 2 years I was exposed to public school, I mean, I understand that some people have to go to public school and that's their only option, but I know for me, I would have been like 100% influenced by that negatively.
Well, look at what you've started. The business is a total creative endeavor, right? Yeah. You came up with the idea. Your mom had the tea party things, and you said, let me make it for the millennials, and you kind of spun it and took it and ran with it. Now look at you.
Yeah, I think the most important part for me is creating a space that I know I would enjoy and thinking about what makes me happy as a consumer. And I was an employee not too long ago, so I know how to make sure my employees and my team members are happy. I'm a customer every day, so I just think of it in those terms. And then you have to think about other people's perspectives too, because everyone's different and likes different.
I didn't hear money in there.
Oh.
Do you think about the money?
I do like the money.
Well, I know you like it, but you have to spend money. How much? Where do you spend it? All that kind of strategizing. How does that come about?
I am really intense on covering costs and making sure they're as low as possible. Just ask my mom and ask my team. I'm like, don't scoop any higher than one flat scoop of pearls, because every pearl costs like 2 pennies, so every penny does count. So I am really on top of, make sure labor is right, but it's not the first priority. It falls under customer happiness, team member morale being great, the product being great. Then you can worry about your costs and it all making sense.
What about the expansion and be able to get folks to cover your store and make sure they're following the brand and all that kind of? How did you develop your people?
A lot of training. So we do like off hours training. We do like a whole 5-6 hour session just on customer service. How to answer questions, how to respond to someone with an issue, how to answer questions at the register. And so we cover all that stuff. I do a lot of role playing. And they always laugh at me and they feel awkward about it because I walk up and pretend to be a customer, and then I coach them on how to respond. Or I'll let them watch and I'll be the team member and let them be the customer, and they see how we should respond, because there's one perfect way to do things here, in my opinion, and so that's the way that we teach them. When someone asks a question and the answer maybe has to be no, you try to put a positive part to that as well. So knowing little techniques like that, or knowing how to fix a drink when there's an issue and things like that.
That's amazing. When I talk about my podcast, I talk a lot about you, and I always say, she's got so much going on, and I use the word intense. Would you say that's pretty accurate?
It's very accurate. Last night, it was very late. It was about midnight, and she had a bunch of things to do, but they were all stuck in her head. So I try to pull them out and get them done, and she doesn't give me enough to go on, but I know her enough to be able to grab from it, and I just started cracking up, and she says, "What are you laughing at?" I says, "Anybody else that you threw this out would just be like, what in the world are you talking about?" I said, "I get you, and I get your brain, so I can help you here, but you got to let it out so we can help you, because there is so much in there." Yeah.
Well, let's say I'm a big investor. How would they invest in your company? Because it sounded pretty good.
Well, that's the plan, to turn this into a franchise. But my idea is I want to have a...
You're keeping it right?
Yeah.
You're keeping it solely owned right now? Or?
Correct. Me and Mom are the only owners. No, we don't have any investors. We did this from scratch. But the idea is to grow it to where we have a couple that we can run smoothly. And then we know it works in different kinds of markets. So once we prove to ourselves it does work in multiple places and we can run it efficiently, then we'll consider franchising. And I have no idea how that works right now. So I will then find somebody who knows way more about it than me and let their expertise help us there.
I swear, every time I'm going to try to ask her a question she can't answer.
You can't. Ask her, let's see, if she did laundry today.
Yeah, how messy are you?
I did do laundry in the middle of the night, actually, because everything was dirty.
Oh, wow. And so you're going to have a manager up here, or are you going to go back and forth between stores? How are you going to split your time?
So right now I'm technically GM of both locations, but I just promoted one of our team members to assist me with some tasks. So we're just kind of slowly but surely delegating things out. But I needed to kind of figure it out for myself what's needed before we...
How is it to delegate for you?
Very easy.
She loves it. She loves it, and she's good at it. Clear instructions.
You have to. If you're going to grow, you're going to have to delegate. I teach leadership courses, and that's hard for people. When you're really good at something, watching people struggle, it sounds like you're trying to develop people. Do you like seeing people that have risen through the ranks and learn all these skills that they don't see in themselves?
Oh, yeah. Delegating in the beginning was hard for me, but the more I do it, the more I see the benefit. Now, of course, there are things that I will not delegate. That is my thing. Nobody does social media but me. But then there's definitely tasks that I am more than happy to let somebody help me with. But delegation isn't just saying, hey, do this, and then you're done. It's then following through, verifying it was done. And I actually use, surprisingly, apps for that. So I actually have my managers have an app. They all have their own folder, and in it I assign tasks. And then when they're done, they check it off, and I get a notification. This way, I know it was given. I know when it's done.
Man, every time I ask her something, it's like...
for that. There's always an app for that.
What's the name of the app? Let's give a plug for the app.
Todoist.
Todoist.
Like to-do list. But
I got you. All right. Yep. There's people coming in. She just took off. I love this tea. It is good.
Good. It's very good.
And it's high quality. It's, you know how you taste something? It's got that potassium sorbate stuff in it.
Right. No, this is all natural, all loose leaf tea. That coconut tea is very expensive, so it's a good quality tea. And like she said, it won awards several years ago. And I will drink it straight, no sugar, and it's just the best.
I'm going to try that next time, but I like it just like it is, though. It's very good.
Yeah, it's very good.
All right, so talk about, so you've been in business a long time, so did Brielle kind of learn the ropes from you?
Well, funny enough, I never worked as a mom. I just stayed home with my kids and homeschooled them. And then a business opportunity came up after they were like 10th grade and up, where two of them chose to go to high school for a few years to test the waters. So that was my first experience in business. I have a business family. Everybody's in it. In fact, my son is the manager and soon-to-be owner of JLT, and he did all the demolition and renovation in here. So I've got him working, and my middle son works in their company. So it's just in our blood. She did work for me. However, I fired her several times because she was a scutch. That's an Italian word.
What's scutch mean?
It's an Italian word for a pain in the neck. And I usually find that the children that do have those tendencies have all that bottled up creativity. And so she did. She didn't give as much input into it then because she was younger. But like I said, as soon as I decided to sell the cafe and just keep it on a lower level, that's when she decided we have to do something with this tea.
Man, I'm just blown away. This is like blowing my mind. And I work in the commercial nuclear industry, and I'm like, I wish I had Brielle and work in my industry. All right.
2 hours. We have family.
Let's get them on here. Okay, come here. Come here. Hey, put that tea down. All right, what's the names again?
My name's Greg and my wife Rose.
Hey, Greg, where'd you drive from?
Cleveland, Georgia.
Cleveland, Georgia. How'd you find out about Brielle and the Tiny Bubbles Tea Bar? All right, Rose, let's go. You're on.
I just Googled bubble tea one time, and hers was the first time that came up in Marietta. And we drove over an hour and a half just to go, and ever since.
What did you say when your wife said we're driving for an hour and a half to get bubble tea?
I'm all for it.
You're a good man. How long have you been married?
25 years this year.
There you go. Well, that's great. So what do you like about, you got a lot of bubbles in there.
It's delicious.
You have like way more bubbles than most, don't you?
Yeah.
You ask for extra bubbles?
I have to have some for home. Yeah, to go home.
So you just drove up, got the bubbles, now you're driving back?
No, we got our tea earlier. This is just extra.
But are you going to drive back today?
Yep.
Well, thanks so much for stimulating the local economy here in Woodstock. It was a pleasure meeting you guys. Check us out on Marietta Stories podcast. You guys are going to be on. I'll hopefully get it in the next few days. All right?
Cool. Sounds good.
All right. Brielle's going to make you famous.
Rose is already famous on her Instagram.
Are you really? Are you into Instagram?
Yes.
What's your, how can people get a hold of you?
Georgia Mom 1.
Georgia Mom 1 on Instagram. All right. Well, pleasure meeting you both. All right. Let's finish things up. Brielle, I love this tea.
Thank you. The strawberry colada. Yep.
I'm going to remember that for next time. Do you make people remember like people's orders, or you can't do that?
No, but I've got an app for that. So we actually have our reward system that we can take notes in people's account. So if ever like I feel somebody might forget what they ordered, a lot of times people come up with complicated combinations, or like, hey, I want it half sweet, make it vegan, double this, one scoop that. I'm like, I think you might forget that next time. Want me to make a note, and on your rewards account, I can put a note in how you like it so you don't have to remember. And it's really helpful.
Wow. And I can tell you're not as stressed as most people that are opening up. You must use systems to kind of keep things in perspective, right?
I think good management isn't, like taking fires out. It's preventing them. So I think of all the things that could go wrong ahead of time, and then I try to, not have to put out the fire, but prevent the fire from ever starting. And then by the end of tonight, I'll pass out, and I'll be in a coma for about 12 hours.
I got to ask you one more question. So how do you hire people? Do you go through this long hiring process with it? Because you got to have the right people to show up. You can't just have regular kind of people. You want to make sure it's good for every customer every time.
Yeah, personality is the biggest part. So everyone submits their application online. And then there's actually a personality test to take along with it. And there's no technically wrong or right way to answer that, but different people are prone to work best in different positions. So if I'm hiring for a certain position, I know what results I need to see out of that personality test. So that really helps me. So I kind of try to eliminate people right off the bat where I don't have to do a million interviews. So the personality test really helps me figure out what position they'd be best for and if that's the position I'm trying to fill. And then we just meet in person and we interview. I let them ask all the questions they have. I explain the process. Then I always have a section of the interview where I try to scare them. So I try to tell them how crazy it gets, how stressful it is, how much they have to memorize. They're going to need flashcards for studying at home because I need someone who's not afraid of that. So they have to be okay with being at work and being self-motivated and driven and ready to work hard. And then I tell them if that's not what you're looking for, that's totally okay. It depends on where you're at in your life and what you're looking for, but I'm trying to find a match for both of us. I don't want my team members to not be happy, and I don't want a team member that isn't happy either.
Do you let them talk to other team members?
No, that's not a bad idea.
That's an idea I'll give you.
Thank you very much.
Yep. All right. Now, who's this young man with the? He's the what?
Peter. My name's Peter.
Bubbles.
Peter Bubbles.
Peter Bubbles. Did you change your name?
Yes. I actually even love bubble tea so much, love Tiny Bubbles so much, I got it tattooed on me.
All right. Where is it? Let me see it. Oh, yeah. No, we don't want to take shirts off here the first day of work. Maybe later in the night. All right, so tell me, Peter, what are you walking around with raffle tickets for?
So for our first 250 guests, we were giving a bit of a thank you gift to all the customers that came in. I have 3 left, so you should get yours before they're all gone. I'm at 248.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. So there was a lot of interest today. So we're just saying like a little bit of a thank you to the community of Woodstock for being so patient with us, to the community that's welcomed us with open arms, to the entire shopping center that's been it's just been a little surreal coming into this location and just opening up. So.
It's exciting to hit the ground running too. I'm sure you've made some customers who are going to keep coming back and checking you guys out, whatever you're going to come up with. So what's the future bring for this store? What do you think is going to happen in the next 30 days?
Oh, next 30 days. I think
just keep packing them in.
Oh, yeah, exactly. We're going to keep doing what we do best, and that's all thanks to Brielle over here. She emphasizes what sets us apart, she emphasizes that customer service, and, that makes those customers coming back constantly. They rave about the tea-ristas and how well they are, and like, oh, I came in a week ago, and they remembered my name, and they remembered my order, and that's, I think, what's super unique about us, no matter how busy. We literally had over 100 people in line earlier, but every customer felt like they were the only one when they were ordering. They got in and out really quickly, and everyone, I think, got a pretty good lesson on tea as they were standing in line as well. So.
And I see you're bringing in people that are like the dads and the kids are explaining to the parents what bubble tea is, and you're spreading the word.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Definitely it starts with the kids. They bring in the parents. Then the parents have their first sample, and then it just kind of keeps on going from there. And then the parents are bringing in the grandparents, and it's crazy to see how far-reaching the bubble tea is.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Peter. I'm going to wrap things up. Brielle, how do folks get a hold of you?
How do they get a hold of me? Well,
just search tea bar or bubble tea in Marietta, and you're number 1.
Yeah, if you're looking for me personally, you can just shoot us a message on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, anything, and it goes directly to me. But if you're just looking to get in contact with the business, you can, of course, just go to our website and any of our social media pages for questions and leave us a review on Google and Yelp.
And what about the app you were talking about?
It's an order-ahead app. You just search Tiny Bubbles Tea Bar in the Google Play or App Store. And on there, you'll get full descriptions of the menu items. You'll get photos of everything on the menu. And then you also get access to our secret menu. So there's like 10 flavors that we don't offer in stores. We'll make it, but we won't ever showcase that menu unless you look at the app. And then you place your order, choose a pickup time, and then you walk in and your drink's ready when you are there.
Wow, and I'm just so excited for you. Thanks so much for your time, and let's get a quick picture for Instagram.
You got it.
Thanks so much for listening to Marietta Stories podcast. You can find us on the Apple Podcast app. You can find us on Stitcher, on Spotify, everywhere that you enjoy your podcast. And if you wouldn't mind, tell a couple friends about the show. I'm trying to build up Marietta and get folks to understand what a great place we live. This is Bill Nowicki for Marietta Stories podcast. Check out Brielle Gaines and her mom, Felecia, up at Tiny Bubbles Tea Bar, either on the Marietta Square or downtown Woodstock.